Hello, my name is Mariana Danilovich, and I'm the Managing Director and founder of Infiom, which is a global consensus network of blockchain professionals who are focused on growing the blockchain ecosystem. Thank you for inviting us to present at your conference, Turf Huang and Julia Shao and the CC Global team, and we're delighted to join you today. So Infiom is a global community we formed in 2019. I was running an angel group right before that, the first angel group that invested in the launch of Ethereum. So I would say my background makes me just a bit partial about the Ethereum network and all of these wonderful innovations that have been developed on it, namely DeFi and NFTs. Infiom is a network that is focused on fundraising and business development for its companies. We work with accelerators, investors, and Fortune 500 companies globally through our local virtual Infiom salons, which are hosted at the moment on Zoom. They were in person before the pandemic. Through our Clubhouse discussions, our AI-powered newsletter, our venture and NFTs Boost programs, and our proprietary digital media network, which are all developed to grow the ecosystem. So this is what Infiom network looks like with all of these different participants we just mentioned. And these are the actual members of the Infiom network, mostly investors, CEOs of the blockchain companies, and heads of innovation of Fortune 500. Infiom created a couple of different packages to help variety of ventures in the space. There's an Infiom Boost, which is tailored towards ventures that are actually scaling quickly in the space, as well as Fortune 500 companies trying to enter and scale inside the space. And then there's an NFTs Project Boost, which is mostly focused on entertainment projects in film, television, games, and music spaces. We're living inside DeFi and NFTs revolution at the moment. Ether was up 36% in August, which is more than double of what Bitcoin did in August. And that was the first time that it outperformed Bitcoin since 2018. And there's some really interesting use cases of NFT and DeFi type projects and companies scaling on Ethereum. And there's also a lot of the convergence happening. We'll talk about Axie Infinity a bit more, but that is a game that is the biggest revenue generating blockchain product at the moment, which combines a play to earn game based on scarce NFTs with liquidity pools for in-game items, using DeFi protocols. And we're going to be seeing more and more of those convergent DeFi and NFT plays in entertainment. So DeFi is arguably the most prevalent application of smart contracts today. DeFi apps have launched, one can argue, in 2009, but it took till about 2020 to see sort of the uptake from maybe 2% of ETH being locked in DeFi contracts to this tremendous amount that we're seeing today. Yeah, about 200 billion being locked in DeFi contracts. So if you look at this slide, the top diagram is from 2019, April of 2019, where companies that are tracking DeFi development looked at different payment platforms, custodial services, infrastructure plays, exchanges and liquidity plays, investing plays, KYC and identity, derivatives, marketplaces. A lot of the NFTs marketplaces were already there. Prediction markets, stable coins, insurance plays, and credit and lending, which seems to be one of the largest applications together with DEXs that are developing today. So that was in 2019, this many players in the space. In 2020, so a year later, there was only 2% of ETH locked in these contracts. So there were a lot of startups, but none of them have really taken off until the second half of 2020 and the beginning of 2021. A few days ago, there was a total value locked of 94 billion. And there was an article that we just sent through our newsletter today that said the value locked is 200 billion. So the astounding growth in the DeFi space. At the same time, with some of the recent developments in this space, it almost, the optimization of the returns on some of these DeFi protocols is getting so granular. You know, with Uniswap providing users the ability to customize their price range for liquidity positions, that it almost made sense to kind of merge those efforts and with the NFT efforts. And then on the NFT side, there are protocols like NFT 20 and NFTX that are gaining financial utility by fractionalization and representations as tokens linked to DEX-based liquidity pools. And in essence, what that means is that the NFTs are now allowing consumers to buy not just individual pieces of collections and artwork, but also fractional pieces, and therefore disrupting the very definition of non-fungible. So NFTs market has also surged this year in its second quarter with a 2.5 billion in sales. It's about equal in the quarter one and in the first and the second quarter of this year. And the NFT as a crypto asset is actually representing a digital or physical item, such as an image, video, in-game item, painting, luxury good, and any other unique or serialized product. As we pointed out, one can actually create series of these non-fungible tokens. And so owners of NFTs are recorded on the blockchain, allowing these NFTs to be traded. So it's de facto creating a marketplace for physical objects, for digital objects, and therefore for all entertainment as digital assets or digital objects. And some of the companies that we're working with right now are creating NFTs on the supply chain as objects representing film, television, and music products, and therefore tracking the DRM protection, the revenue associated with these objects, and using NFTs in supply chain management and entertainment. So on top tier platforms, NFT sales are soaring. OpenSea is nearing 150 million in June, but you can see since February, it's been really quite high. If you look at the CryptoPunks, they started out as a free project by Larva Labs and were distributed to people, and now they're being sold in hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. They also started this whole NFT avatars space with a bunch of other companies jumping into the sector. The NFT sales volume has been pretty steady this year in Q1 and Q2, about 1.24 billion. So the genre sales have been collectibles, including some of these avatars, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, Loot as a new entrant into the space, and variety of other projects. Sports has been the second highest genre. Traditional art, utility, getting access to concert tickets, VIP, and other exclusive events, game, and metaverse NFTs, all top tier genres in the space at the moment. And as we talk about DeFi and NFTs and entertainment, we have to talk about the community. There really aren't any NFT sales or any DeFi project without the community, and in some cases, strengthening with these DAO organizations, decentralized autonomous organizations. Community members manage these projects They also enhance the value of the project. They promote them on crypto, Twitter, Telegram, Discord. They manage group discussions, events, aggregate community through scheduling of all of these different events and strengthening the community at the same time. Most of these community members are also invested in the community. So in shared economy, we saw companies like Lyft and Uber and Airbnb do so well and become unicorns because they provided a way for consumers to make money and not just be sort of passively participating in companies like Facebook and Google making money off of their content. But in blockchain, that's taken a step further because now the consumers are no longer fans, they're members of the team. They're part of the business of the community. They earn revenue from, performing a variety of tasks in the community, and they're invested in the tokens of the community or NFTs as projects, and therefore they're also the investor, and that strengthens their membership and belonging to that community. We feel that Fortune 500 companies have quite a bit to learn from community and DAOs or as organizations. Fortune 500s have done a tremendous job in creating labs and accelerators and venture funds to invest in innovation so they can innovate and not perish. But it's really the strength of the community that allows all those innovations to take place and then just have a meteoric rise once they're introduced. So in the entertainment business, major issues actually could be solved with some of these blockchain innovations, and that's what's so exciting about it. Consumers' ability to access content is very challenging at the moment. There's pretty much every piece of content is available through a streaming service of some sort. However, the organization of that content and finding that content is still challenging. It's extremely challenging on connected TV services like, Samsung Smart TVs or Amazon Fire Stick or Roku. These are some of the services that have sort of been left behind with Netflix and Amazon getting majority of the share, now HBO Plus, Disney, etc. But even on Netflix and Amazon, the organizational programming and the programming that's being served to the viewers doesn't necessarily provide for any sort of optimization of that process. Within a community, if there are people who are actually inviting community and creating community of the same interest in programming and then distributing programs to that community, that process becomes a lot more engaging. And so we see that some of these community functions will solve this consumer ability to access and enjoy programming and be introduced to new programming. The number two issue is the producers and talents' ability to participate in intellectual property ownership. Unfortunately, with streamers, this has gone in the wrong direction. In the past, when we were doing green light analysis at Sony Pictures, there were participation points, and the issue between the producers, directors, and top tier talent in the studio was it a gross point or a net point of the revenue? Today with Netflix, most of the payments and all of the payments in majority of the cases are just paid up front. Therefore, there is no equity sharing in very successful projects. Issue number three is the producer's ability to engage consumers in the production, distribution, and marketing of content. We've seen some of this happening with crowdfunding, but it's really amplified with blockchain. One can literally create a feedback loop with the community that is feeding ideas and perceptions and feedback on programming to the producers, distributors, and marketers of programming, while the community is also all of those functions, and therefore creating a much stronger networking effect for production, marketing, and distribution of programming. So it would really change fundamentally the way industry is working through all of this today. We've also seen this with a variety of music albums dropping directly to fans, and now with Royal, with Justin trying to create a company they will share royalties with fans. So fans would be part of the production process in music. Issue number 4 is accurate tracking of ownership and profit participations. And at the moment, there is a real issue in tracking ownership and profit participations for film, television, music, and other programs. And with the blockchain, with an immutability and a transparency of the network, as well as network being managed by the fans, the viewers, the team members, if you'd like, that would be also solved, that issue. And then ability to distribute content to an engaged audience. At the moment, Netflix and Amazon really have most of the information on consumer data. And if you look at this next slide, this was one of the very interesting slide, in a presentation to data scientists. What is the role of a data scientist at Netflix? And the most interesting thing about it is that the blockchain platforms take that whole role of a data scientist out of play, because they allow entertainment producers and talent to directly engage with fans, with team members, and not really analyze data and try to gain access to consumer data, sometimes inappropriately, etc. They're letting the consumers participate in the process of entertainment development and entertainment distribution and enjoyment. These are some of the really interesting entertainment relationships and projects that are happening right now. United Talent Agency has done a deal with Larva Labs, which is the creator of CryptoPunks. Larva Labs originally created 10,000 of the individual algorithmically generated pixelated figures on the Ethereum blockchain back in 2017. And those were free to distribute it as free project. And since then, CryptoPunks are, have taken the world of NFTs by storm. Visa purchased one most recently for $150,000. They were CryptoPunks sold in millions. And so UTA, one of the top Hollywood talent agency, has decided to sign up CryptoPunks in a representation deal that would bring this project to film, television, video games, and other licensing areas. And they will also represent Larva Labs' other projects, which is MeBits and Autoglyphs. So that's a very interesting partnership. The other partnership is Visa and CryptoPunks deal. We've seen Budweiser and some other top tier brands investing in the NFTs space. This is all because the value of CryptoPunks has skyrocketed, with a bundle of 9 CryptoPunks sold for just under 17 million in May. And it was through an auction run by Christie's. So it is not letting down. We've spoken to Christie's on a project that involves some of the original heritage museums around the world and their art collections. And in that discussion, we realized that Christie's is actually staying in this space and will continue to do different collections, auctions through Christie's for the NFTs that are very successful. StonerCat is a television project by Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher. It raised about 8.3 million in just a few minutes time, pre-selling NFTs to the access to the programming, and raised the transaction fees of the Ethereum network from $9.5 to $35. The actual payment to view StonerCat was $800, which is much higher than any premium VOD offering at the moment. And so it literally has launched a way to fund film and television projects in a different way than we already have done over the years. The music NFTs with Justin Blau are definitely, also known as 3Lau, are definitely some of the most interesting projects. He was he sold the world's first tokenized album for 11.7 million under 24 hours. He's earned over 20 million from more than a dozen NFT auction projects over the past year, and is now has launched a $16 million in seed funding led by Peter Thiel, Founders Fund and Paradigm, to launch a company called Royal, where the musicians can share their royalty and revenues with their fans as part of the company. So Royal is basically aiming to democratize access to music ownership, marketing, and distribution. These are some of our projects in the entertainment space. Superworld is one of the companies I've been advising for several years. They're actually presenting here at the conference. They're one of the most interesting real world meets metaverse, AR and VR opportunities combined with NFT sales marketplace. They have over 45,000 accounts and counting every day. There's 64 billion plots in Superworld of land that one can buy and then launch NFTs and different media projects, film, television, music, concerts, festivals inside Superworld. We also work with a company called Uprime out of Paris that is a global AVOD platform and PVOD platform that is on the blockchain. It has aggregated over 5,000 hours of professionally produced programming from top tier studios and companies here in Hollywood and globally. Has a distribution deal with Orange Telecom in 26 countries and is partnering with some of the top tier blockchain projects to then allow the viewers of that programming to become team members. Monex is a company that can attach any legal contract to any blockchain transaction. We believe that's the future of NFTs. It works with, it's platform agnostic. It works with any NFT platform. Planet X is a film project we're working on. It's a live action sci-fi with metaverse, with NFTs, with all the different components that we discussed of the AR, VR film programming combined into this one project. And then Sci-Fi Anthology is more of a traditional top tier art collection, that original sci-fi art pieces that were used for books like War of the Worlds, The Time Machine, and others. But the interesting thing about Sci-Fi Anthology is that they were able to license those amazing works of art in the collection to a variety of consumer products over the years. And we believe that's going to be the future of the NFT space. And so if you'd like to get in touch with us, learn about our Boost programs, and or have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me either on our website, infiom.com, or my email is mariana@infiom.com. You can follow me on the Clubhouse if you'd like to speak at some of our Clubhouse discussions. And I want to thank you for your time and for inviting us to be part of your experience today.